Welcome back, people. It is episode 31 of season 4 of the Taxi Squad podcast. You are going to be hearing this on August 1st. We are recording this on July 31st. So happy August. Happy
Hooray!
August. We are almost to football season. Speaking of which, we are going to get into some football topics. But before that, we do have some strange and unusual things to get into in regards to the Olympics, how one baseball player might play for two teams in the same game, and also the MLB trade deadline, some Olympic topics. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back, it's the Taxi Squad, yeah.
Vince, happy anniversary, man.
Happy anniversary, Mike. Thanks for saying that. You know, I was afraid you were going to forget it. I felt like a wife, honestly. I was like, you're going to forget the anniversary, dude? Like, did he get me anything special? Honestly, your presence is special. So happy anniversary to you, dude. We've been doing this now for 3 years, and
it's insane.
It's been quite a road. If you're listening, you've been with us as well, and thank you for that. And I would rather do this with no one else, Mike, besides your beautiful face.
Well, Vince, that is no truer statement has been stated. If you've been with this podcast long enough to know that Vince wasn't actually the original co-host of the podcast.
Rest in peace to old guy.
There was a former person that I started this with. He fell off the face of the earth, and then I tried to do it on my own. Shout out to a great Instagram page by the name of Pods Are Us, who kind of kicked me in the ass to keep it moving because he was like the only guy listening at the time, and started doing this, invited Vince, see if he wanted to join me, and 3 years later, here we are.
I mean, I was rocking on Unrelated, which I still do, which is still on there, so check that out too after you're done with us. And you were like, hey, you podcast, you know about sports, do you want a podcast? And now, 3 years later, I've just been doing guest appearances.
Well, no,
I know,
no,
I'm kidding.
Not at all. No, it's not guest appearances. Vince is a part of this. I mean,
I was going to say, I would like to ask you if I could be permanent now. You cool with that?
I think you've already cemented yourself as permanent.
Thank you.
But yeah, I encourage everybody to go back into the relics of the Taxi Squad podcast episodes and go listen to those episodes, because not only are they funny and completely diabolical, and how we were going upon doing this with the audio quality, at least I had, and then not only that, how scattered the entire podcast was as a whole.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Brilliant.
We didn't know how to do it. It was so we didn't have a video yet. It was a long time ago.
We did not have video yet. You couldn't see these beautiful faces talking to your lovely screens, and it was just kind of chaos, but we had a lot of fun with it, and we still have just as much fun with it today.
And we're probably just as chaotic. At least we have a schedule now.
It's more so like flying an airplane in a gymnasium now,
right
than anything. It's a little bit of controlled chaos now, but we still have just as much fun with it today as we did then. And not only that, but if somebody said this would end tomorrow, I would probably be one of the most disappointed, depressed, and sad people you could talk to.
Yeah.
So
you know how people usually say, like, I don't only do this for the money. We definitely don't do this for the money. So
no,
we're rocking, baby.
And we're so blessed that to say that we have had sponsors, and going to actively continue to pursue more. If you're listening to this and you have that ability to do so, please check us out. We're more than happy to read. And these are things that moving forward we're going to continue to grow on and embark on this journey. We've got an opportunity to talk to many very interesting people, and that's going to continue to grow as we grow.
Yes, sir.
So happy anniversary, Vince. 3 years.
Too,
Holy
man.
fuck.
And to the beautiful listeners, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Because truly, it's impossible without you. Otherwise, we're just speaking to nobody. So you're the best, as are you, Mike. Should we do what we know how to do? Should we just do it? Should we just do the podcast?
Should we do what we know?
Or should we
do
just
what we know
keep
how to do?
sucking each other off the whole time? You look handsome. Your skin's
Love you,
amazing,
man.
beautiful. You have great hips.
I agree. All right, the love affair is over.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some strange
All
and
right,
unusual
fuck you.
topics.
Let's get it.
Fuck you. Let's get after it. So the Olympics started what now? A week and a half ago?
I think so. I think we're.
Or is it 2 weeks?
Well, no.
Are we 2 weeks in?
What are you talking? No, because we didn't even talk about the Olympics last week.
So there you go. So we're about a
It's
week
been
and a
about
half
a
in.
week. It's been about a week.
The Olympics this year in Paris, and it is very interesting, to say the least,
Yeah.
as to some of the things that are going on with that opening ceremony, kind of the talk of the town. It's strange and unusual, to say the least.
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette references, the references to many biblical events is quite insane. But the one I would like to bring up and discuss amongst our listeners is,
I'm very
What the-
curious about what you're about to bring up right now. I'm ready.
what in the actual fuck are these creators or creative planners of this event thinking about when you're essentially recreating the Last Supper in such a way that is so woke? And not saying that it's do whatever you want as a human being, but I don't need this movement shoved down my fucking throat, I guess is all I'm getting at, right? Well, I think it has nothing to do with sports.
Yeah.
And then to add that, the white horse, okay, with the faceless
Yeah, that was
figure
weird. That was
riding
weird,
into the
man.
event. Well, go look at the Bible. This predicates a specific portion of the Bible that
Yeah.
goes into end times, or the, in quote, Antichrist. So is there some like foreshadowing here? I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy podcast. Once again, what the fuck does this have to do with sports or athletics in general?
That's
I'm
my
very
takeaway. That's my takeaway, honestly. I did not watch this live. I'm not sure if you did. I did see like the Cliff Note videos after it, because everybody's like, what was that? This might be the most French shit I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. If there's any place that's going to do something wild like this, it's France. Yeah, it's France, dude. This is just how France gets down. They just do weird shit. Listen, been there. Paris is a beautiful city. It's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird, man. People are a little weird. Definitely a different type of life out there. Now, I think they were going for like aggressive art. I think we can agree on that. That's kind of what their MO was, it feels like to me. It didn't hit for me based on the shit that I did see. And I guess it's got Christians mad, which kind of gets me excited sometimes.
Rightfully so. Christians should be upset because it's just.
I agree, but
like,
it's kind of funny to me too when it's just like the people of the church start getting really mad, because I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, it's the Olympics. I know they've done a lot of wild ones in the past. I don't think they were intending to disrespect anybody, but it was like so out of pocket and did not fit the scenario at all.
Well, the Marie Antoinette thing I thought was applicable to Paris as a whole, because that's a part of French history. And
correct, yeah.
I get that. I just don't understand all the biblical stuff. It just really kind of throws me for a loop. And once again, I don't need all this stuff shoved down my sports throat when I'm just want to watch USA basketball compete on a national scale and watch some great tush across the country compete in beach volleyball. That's why, that's why I'm tuning in
for tush.
They should stick to. Doesn't hurt. Also, great competition.
Yes,
I am going
too.
to be tuning into Brazil and the Dominican Republic beach volleyball game for the women.
I will too. Respectfully.
Respectfully,
I will too. I will also.
Respectfully, we will. We just want to watch them compete. That's why we're there.
Yeah,
but I just don't understand. Back to it now. In Tokyo in 2020, the Olympics that never was. Those opening ceremonies were also controversial, and I recommend everybody go look.
Well, that's Japan, though. Japan's real weird with it.
Well, They also depicted in that opening ceremony like some ominous-looking figure like going into a village, and it had like a syringe.
Is this Judith?
And no, this
Judith.
no, technically it would be the Gwyn Weeple, but
Gwyn Weeple.
technically it's the Gwyn Weeple. But then what events proceeded after that? Right?
Yeah.
COVID. Right?
What's that?
It was a variant of a virus that we overreacted about.
Never heard of her. Anyway, go on.
It was a very big flu. In case anybody,
Huge flu.
It was a
Huge
big old flu that
Huge
doesn't
flu.
exist anymore. That everybody chooses to forget.
No, it's back, man. I still haven't gotten
Oh, it is. Oh, good for you. I've had
I know.
it twice.
Everybody I know's had it like 2-3 times, and I'm just flying by the
not
seat
that
of my
bad.
pants.
The first time I just couldn't smell anything. I was like, oh, this is weird. And then the second time I was really sick for like a day. No, it was fine.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's kind of blowing through people really quickly. I don't want to ever get it. I want to be like patient zero, you know?
You want to be patient zero?
I'd be like, why has he never gotten it? I'm like, he's got the blood,
Vince,
man.
You could have it right now, bro.
I don't.
You could, in theory,
Actually,
have it.
I guess in the last like year and a half, probably, I haven't been tested, so I could have it. But I felt great. Oh, also, this is technically, I guess not technically anymore because I did consume an alcoholic beverage, but this is technically the what do you call it? Fasting podcast. Mike and I haven't eaten it at least in a solid day. We're both just skinny little boys.
We are looking fresh if you're
Yeah.
on this podcast right now. If you're
Look at this
watching us,
jaw,
like
man.
we look at the jaw lines this week. Last
Shut the
week maybe
fuck
a
up.
little swollen because every time I go into Chicago, I gain 5 pounds. It's just like a
Yeah,
little
hot dogs
bastard.
and pizza and all that shit.
Yeah, just all the things I want to eat. I just go for it.
Yeah.
But I probably shouldn't do that. Hey, I'm going to Boston next week. Mike's got
How
a
you
road game next week.
Darn! Go get a nice
Shut up.
Italian sandwich.
Monica Mercado. I'm gonna be standing in line out of there like a crackhead. But either way, Vince, yeah, don't understand what all this crazy biblical stuff has to do with sports.
I don't.
I just go ahead.
I'd like to say that it's not. I don't think it's cool. Like I think it's stupid, kind of. Like I get it, I guess, because it's a worldwide thing. It wasn't surprising to me. Seeing it, I was like, "This is some classic worldwide." Like try to make a huge wild show of it where everybody talks about bullshit. Like I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm sure that France is doing that. I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but that's the way I see it.
It's foreshadowing the apocalypse. These people are absolutely evil and murderers.
Is this
I want you to
InfoWars?
understand that they control you at every aspect. There is a one world government. It just doesn't exist on a local level. And they are controlling you, and they are foreshadowing for the Antichrist.
New impression unlocked?
Yeah?
Alex
How'd it
Jones
go?
in? It was pretty good.
How'd it
I
go?
liked it. Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
I like the Alex
Yeah.
Jones. You should get his medicine.
Damn France putting all the chemicals in the water, making the
Yeah.
damn frogs. Hey.
I would like to ask Alex Jones how he feels about France. I'm sure that's a impassioned conversation.
I mean, in theory, France had the first gay frog, right? Right?
Probably. I don't know.
Well, no. You think
I haven't
of Prince
researched it.
Charming, you think of the story. You think of the fairy tale. That
Yeah, but
had
is
to
it-
originate in
Doesn't
France.
a princess have to kiss the frog?
Well, right. Yeah,
It's a
that's-
straight ass frog, bro. That's a straight ass
well, if
frog.
that's a very straight frog.
Yeah.
But then again, what if he's
I guess
what
he
if
didn't
he's-
consent to getting kissed. He might have
what
hated
if
that.
what if he identifies as something else? You know, just like this
Good
Last
point.
Supper.
That's a good
right?
point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
As far as the show goes, though, talented performers. I'll give them that. They were good at what they were doing. Didn't make any fucking sense, but talented performers.
I got about halfway through the whole thing, and I just stood up like a Fox News dad. I was like, "Oh, this is what
Yeah.
we're creating now. All right."
Yeah, that's something that I could tolerate longer than you could. That's for certain.
It's just like mind. Like, what do we? This
Yeah.
once again, it has nothing to do with athletics or sports or the people portraying any of these acts. Go watch the opening ceremonies of the Olympics in 1992. That
What,
was
the
cool.
year you were born?
I was born in 91, Vince. Get your
The year
facts
after
straight.
you were born? Yeah, I guess, like, praying for better days or whatever. I miss Phelps. Okay, so we have another strange and unusual, and it's kind of funny because this is like setting us up for the rest of the pod because the biggest things that are going on right now are Olympics
Baseball.
and the baseball trade deadline.
Baseball.
Warning, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the White Sox today. Just saying. But before we get there,
Unfortunately.
Danny Jansen, Mike.
Danny Jansen, Vince,
Yes.
catcher for the Blue Jays.
Yep.
And June 26th, he was a catcher for the Blue Jays.
Right.
But now he's playing for Boston.
Right.
And this game got suspended in Boston on June 26th when he was a part of the Blue Jays.
Oh.
And they're going to actually redo the game. On August 26th.
Oh.
So how is this? Is he going to play both? Like, is he going to switch jerseys like halfway through the inning?
I
How is he
believe
gonna do this?
I believe they're required to play him, right?
I think they are.
You
Because
have
don't you have to go with the original roster?
Wait.
played?
Can he play or has he been taken out?
I don't know.
Technically, yes, because if he got traded at the time of the game, he's been taken out. You can't put him back in the game.
But if he wasn't traded at the time of the game, now what?
Wait, what are the rules for that? Can you?
Is he going
Just-
to catch 18 innings? I mean,
That'd be
this could be the
sick.
first time in history an MLB player to appear in both games.
Right.
I mean,
This is unprecedented. My question is like, and I guess I can't remember a time where like I figured out how this works. If a game gets called in like the fourth and they have to play the rest of it later, are you
Mhm.
required to put the same lineup out there? Like, what if guys are injured and shit?
I'm assuming there's some law there.
Or can you
I mean,
just
you can't
put
like,
your?
put a guy out there with a broken leg.
But like, let's say
Or-
like Paul Goldschmidt was injured the first time and now he can play. Like, can you put him in? Or is he not on the lineup card?
I'm assuming that the managers can, manipulate that lineup based off of injuries, based off of
But-
many things. If somebody isn't available to go,
What if it was the reported roster on June whatever? Like, do they have to follow that, or is it just like this is like a new game? You can just put in whoever you want.
I'm assuming there's some clause in there that
Has
states
to
if a
be.
player is traded. That has to be. Maybe we're blowing something up on a nothing.
Is
Maybe
this the
just
last
a
time
hot
the
end.
Red Sox played the Blue Jays? Aren't they in the same division? They should have played them like 9 times since then.
Yeah, they are in the same division. And Vince, hey, shout out to Boston. Speaking of Boston, when we were in Boston last year around this time, they played the Blue Jays. We actually made
Flatty.
some money on that
Whit
game.
Merrifield, right? Whit Merrifield, Homer.
Yeah,
Loved it.
We won some.
Yeah.
We won some moolah. on
Yeah,
that
we
game,
left there with more money than we had, which was pretty cool.
which is I mean, the bar took the majority of the money on that trip. though.
I mean, I didn't leave Boston with more money, but I left that game with more money. That's for certain.
Yeah, you did. And we went to the hottest nightclub in the planet. I forget the name of it, but it's right outside of
Yeah.
Fenway, and no air conditioning was to be had in that spot.
That was popping. I found a guy that was playing guitar on a loop pedal and sat there for an hour and just ditched everybody. It was very fun.
Yeah, Vince just went on a little adventure all by
I do
himself.
that, man. I do that. I vanish sometimes. It's very fun.
It's not fun for
Hurrah.
your friends.
I know. I should have told you. But it's all right. You
We'll
found
see
me.
we'll see if Danny Jansen doesn't vanish, right? Let's see if he catches 9 innings. I'm really into this.
I have an old friend alert.
Okay.
Old friend alert for the Chicago White Sox. He was a catcher, and he got in trouble for performing hand-based athletic feats on his John in a parking lot. Do you remember this?
He was having a wank in his vehicle,
He was wanking in his vehicle. A man by the name of
Really?
Reese McGuire. Do you remember Reese McGuire? We had him for a bit of time. Reese McGuire got in trouble
Yeah,
in
he
I
was
want to
on
see
the
the day.
roster for like a couple of years.
2020. It was 2020. He got in trouble when he was like a minor leaguer for masturbating in like a Aldi parking lot or something like that. A long time ago. I think it might have been a strange and
Whoa.
unusual. When we got him, I think that was the strange and unusual because it was only like 2 years ago. Well, he got in trouble and it all ended and then everything went on. And it's back in the news now. He was on the Red Sox. I don't know if the Red Sox knew about this because he's no longer on the Red Sox. Rockies pitcher Cal Quantrill during the game shared the fact that he got in trouble. He said, "Go jack off in the fucking parking lot, you dumb fuck," is what he said to him after he was pitching to him.
Okay, so did he like strike him out? Because that would be the greatest comeback
Yeah,
ever
that's
if
what
you
he was
struck a
doing.
dude out.
Cal was
Oh,
walking
that's
towards the
awesome.
Rockies dugout. He, for some reason, decided to go after McGuire, reminding him colorfully of when he was arrested in 2020 for allegedly pleasuring himself. You can see in the video, "Go jerk off in the fucking parking lot, you dumb fuck," is what he said to him.
Have you ever seen the movie Hall Pass? with
Yes, I
Owen
have.
Wilson?
Mhm.
Okay. So Jason Sudeikis' character in that film, hysterical,
Okay.
has a whole thing where when his wife turns him down for the action, this is what he does. He claims he forgets something in his car, and he jerks off in the car.
Have
He's
you
like,
ever
"Oh,
done
dude,
that in a car? Is that TMI?
God, no.
Why
God,
would you
no.
do that in a car? I would be.
Don't you want to be in the privacy of your own home if you're about to,
Yeah, or like a hotel room. So I guess like the story behind this, why people thought it was happening, is because in the minors you have to like share rooms with people, and it's not comfortable nor like good, which is why like he kind of got a pass on it. But I would never masturbate in a car. I get
Do
scared
whatever
about the whole
prepubescent-
roadhead thing.
do whatever prepubescent boy does. Tear one off in the shower. That's just
Yeah,
totally normal.
exactly. That's when you're alone.
Right?
Yeah, like I'm not even like a fan of the whole roadhead idea. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's probably,
Yeah, that's
'cause I
always
gotta-
like.
I got a gut though too, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, sometimes like
I'm
it's
not gonna
attractive
sit
if
back
you
and
put the
do
belly on her
this.
back, right?
Yeah,
It-
well
it
that's
goes if you
yeah.
put the belly on her back, but
yeah, but that's full sex, not
Right.
blowjobs.
yeah, no, that's always a difficult one, right? Because you're driving, and you don't want to be like Tony Soprano with that one scene in season 4 where he's driving home and he almost crashes, right?
Yep.
You don't
Well,
want to
it
be like
sounds-
that guy.
I believe it sounds better than it is. Personally,
Unless you're like in gridlock traffic and have tinted windows.
yeah, but I mean, still, I'm kind of like I'm not thinking about like getting one off in gridlock traffic. I'm thinking about fighting somebody.
Do you know about the Mario test? You ever heard of the Mario test?
Are you saying Mario like in Italian, but it's
Yeah, like
Mario?
the Mario
Yeah.
test. It's from the
Mario
movie
and
of Bronco.
Luigi. Yeah,
Mario's a fucking psycho. Why do you listen to him? But do you know the Mario test? Okay, so the Mario test goes as this. He
Okay.
goes, if you want to know, and this is how it's so eloquently put in the film. If you want to know if a broad you're seeing is a whore, you're driving on the highway, right? And she's sitting in the front seat next to you. And you got your hand on the back of her head, and you pull up next to a semi truck driver, and you get his attention. You honk the horn, you do whatever you got to do. to get
Oh
his
my
attention.
God. Okay.
And then you push her down on your brajol. And if she goes for it, knowing that guy's watching, then she's a whore and she can't be trusted.
Oh my
So-
God.
That's the Mario rule.
All right. I'll remember that for next
Now,
time.
Sonny's rule is far sweeter, right?
Okay.
Take a girl on a first date, and you lock all the doors. You open the door for her, right, with the key. This is when cars had keys, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you open the door for her. You put her in. If she doesn't reach across the car door to open that lock for you so you could get in, she's a selfish broad, and you just saw the tip of the iceberg.
That's funny. I never thought about that. I mean, it's out the
It's
window
true.
with electric unlockers, but yeah, I mean, that's I guess.
Hey,
you-
I did it in my Civic.
Do you dream of like 1990? Is that something you do?
I dream of like the 90s, like
Yeah.
late 90s when I was alive to remember, my
Yeah.
childhood.
Well, that's what I'm.
Good
That's what I'm
times.
saying. It's like very like lockable cars and none of this fucking technological bullshit.
My
you know?
first car was a your brother remembers this, was a 1991 Buick LeSabre,
Oh my
white
God!
blue velvet interior.
Hell yeah!
It was an Arizona car. I guess I was like predicting my future. It was an Arizona car.
Well, that's good because there's no
and
rust
it
on it.
had and it had no thermostat.
Oh, this thing rocks.
It had no thermostat, and I could fit 5 people in the back seat straight across.
This is the car that you draw in class. You know, like
Dude,
when
it
kids
was a
just go boop, 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 boop,
in the
boop.
snow. In the snow,
Yeah.
that car was an absolute tank.
I mean, mine was a 1991 Mercury Grand Marquis, so or
See?
1999. Yeah, so we're on the same boat. I missed that car dearly, to be honest.
Well, in order to play music, I had to have the cassette
that
with the
went in,
plug
and then
that
you can
came out.
aux
Yeah.
it to your phone. Yeah. It's a whole thing. I get that. All right.
Oh, yeah.
The Olympics are going on. Outside of the drag queen Last Supper show, there are sports happening right now in the Olympics, and something
Really?
happened
That's
today.
what it's about?
Yeah. It's actually sports. I was just as surprised as you are. America has done a pretty good job in the last couple of days. They've done a piss poor job previous. So looking at the medal count currently as we record, the U.S. has the most medals with 30. However, they're lacking in the gold department, which I do believe we're going to collect some as we go. I think track and field's going to be a big deal for us. I think we're going to be like, what's his name? Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles, is that his name? Our speed
No
runner
idea,
guy.
Vince.
He's our speed runner guy. And also, listen, like, I watch some of the Olympics. I don't watch all the Olympics. I mostly rewatch stuff. The thing that's pissing me off is that you can't post clips online. So you can't see shit on Twitter or Instagram. You notice how you haven't seen, like, actual performances?
No.
They're hawks. They're hawks. Like, you can post something and 2 minutes later, killed. Don't
Once
see
again, government control, Vince. It's the overlords. They're paying attention to all
it.
of it.
That's more like
Foreshadowing.
NBC control, I think, more than anything.
Even better.
So a couple things happened that I do want to highlight. First off, women's rugby. Did I send you this?
No.
Coolest thing ever. I had to go into the comments to figure out what was happening because I don't understand how scoring works. But essentially what happened is that
Love rugby.
the U.S. women's team was playing rugby. I forgot who they were playing against. U.S.
Now, are
women's
they
team
playing sevens or are they playing full 11 out of 11?
I think it's sevens based on how many people were on the field. Again, I don't know rugby at all, so this is like me watching cricket.
I love
regardless,
it. It's a great sport.
It is electric. It's truly electric. So essentially, how it was explained to me in football terms to apply to rugby is the team that the USA was playing, they scored a touchdown but didn't get the extra point. So the U.S. was down by 6, essentially.
Got it.
99-yard run from the other end zone, U.S., bring it in, hit the extra point, win the fucking game. Hurrah.
That's
Sickest
awesome.
clip. I saw the clip for 2 minutes. I sent it to 4 different people. Gone.
Taken down.
No one saw it
Immediately done.
except for me, and I was just like, "You guys have to see this. I don't know how to share it with you." It
You
was
gotta
driving me
figure
nuts.
out how to stream all these games that are, they're the stuff they don't show.
Yeah.
That's the type of. They have the Olympic channels. Like, I would
Like-
love to watch women beat the shit out of each other in rugby.
Well, I
It'd be
think like
awesome.
the Olympics website, I think it functions similar to the Masters, how you can kind of just like pull up the stream from what you want.
Okay.
But I don't know if
Got
it's
it.
like televised specifically. Now, another American that's going off is a lady by the name of Katie Ledecky. Katie Ledecky is a person that people know in the swimming world, maybe not outside of the swimming world. She's the Michael Phelps of women's swimming. The first event that she swam in didn't win, so I have no respect for her because U.S. only wins medals. Just kidding. She's a badass. She swam today, and she was so far ahead of everybody that they had to pull a Michael Phelps and get 2 different camera angles for the entire group of women behind her and then her by herself. It was so badass to be that much better than everybody.
I don't know what it is with our culture and swimming competitively, but we do a pretty good fucking job.
Our
'Cause
men suck, though, this year.
Our men
unfortunately.
sucked this year, but they were
Yeah.
wonderful. So if we have the
Lochte
women,
Phelps. Yeah.
right? Lochte Phelps, Ryan Lochte, good-looking cat, but if you heard him talk, he sounded like an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
You
he was
remember
the
him
bad boy
talking
of
or
swimming,
saying
and he was
words?
just like, "I'm going to tell you a story." You're like, "What's going on with
I
that
was
guy?"
just like, okay, all right.
I guess he
You're a
dove too
special
far into
little
the
Kelly.
dove too far into the pool and hit his head a couple times. I
Yeah,
think.
either that or held his breath for too long. One or two.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Ryan Lochte. He also got robbed in Brazil. That was a thing many moons
That happens.
ago.
That happens to white boys, according to all my Brazilian incumbents.
Yeah, you got to go there with people from there. That's
Yeah.
kind of usually the rule.
I want to go, and
And-
luckily, I have a few people that can take me along on that ride.
I have some clients who are actually from that area.
Oh, oui.
who- He has more money than he knows what to do with. So much so that he has an armored fucking car.
Cybertruck?
G-Wagon.
Good. Way cooler than a Cybertruck. I saw what was it?
Oh, they're
What's
ugliest thing.
what's the website that you can hire actors to send you videos? Cameo.
Cameo.
I saw a Cameo Cybertruck yesterday in front of my work, and it was brutal. Just brutal. Not.
What do you mean? Oh, so like you can Cameo the truck?
No, it was Cameo branded Cybertruck. I think they were trying to get people to see it and stuff. Cybertrucks are so ugly, man. I've seen a couple in action. I know how fun it was. They're so ugly. I do not care about them.
Because that's like the guy from your hometown who would like rent a truck like that for the day to make 30 Snapchat videos to tell you how he's up now.
Go to Miami and rent a Lamborghini even though you spent too much money on a rental. Like that kind of shit.
Right. Like it's the old music video theories. It's like when you were a kid, you thought all those rappers in those music videos owned those cars. It's like, no, they didn't.
No, never. They have a friend that has one somewhere that can get it to them on the low. That's what they did.
Bring back dope music videos. PSA. But all right, so Katie.
I'm
Ledecky,
trying to. Okay.
Yeah. So Katie Ledecky does her thing, right?
Dog. Yep.
And then we have men's basketball.
Hold on. Do you know who Chase Budinger is?
No, I know. No.
Chase Budinger used to play in the NBA. I want to say he was drafted by the Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. He was a dog in college for Arizona. Let's see where his draft was. Second round, 44th pick. Not very high, but he did play for the Rockets for a couple years. Kind of the Red Rocket looking scenario. Chase Budinger is on the men's beach volleyball team and is destroying people.
Well, that tracks.
It's sick. I don't know why we haven't done this with everybody, dude. Why wouldn't you? A young, tall center, power forward type guy. He was selected by the Pistons. Went to the Rockets. Why wouldn't you put a guy like that? He can jump like a beast and he can spike it on everybody. Just dunk the ball over the net. Why wouldn't it's genius? Why wouldn't we not do this?
Once again, it's like why aren't certain point guards in the NBA like trying out for soccer? They run enough. Just instead of handling the ball, you just got to kick the ball.
They'd probably be the best soccer player in America, to be honest.
Right?
But yeah, Chase Budinger, congratulations. You're a dog. And he's taking us to a gold right now. Feels like it, at least. 2-0 against France in their home court. So, yeah. French and Indian War, we won that one too, man. Let's go.
Good old history lesson. So
they did help us. They did help us with the revolution. Whatever.
Well, we are pretty good at the volleyballs. I will say that much.
Yep.
Now, that's one sport growing up I wish I could have actually played competitively.
No, we were too round and not vertical enough.
I'm not saying I got hops. I got credit card hops, but I could, set really well.
I agree. I don't think that's where our skills would have been utilized the most. You are a pretty tall man, but compared to them, Chase Budinger is 6'9", 6'10".
I do enjoy some volleyball, though.
Me too.
I think I had the false pretense that I would have been good at it because, I destroyed in the volleyball unit in gym class.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I fucked shit up in that.
Mike, I was Steve Nash in gym basketball.
I was horrible in gym basketball.
I was so good.
That's the one sport I'm just not okay in.
Oh, I am weirdly good at basketball. I got the wettest J on this side of the Mississippi.
Really?
You put me in the corner, dude, lights out.
There's always a handful of big guys that can shoot really well.
Oh yeah, you'll see him on Instagram. It's no one knew, and then guy comes up, it's just whoosh, whoosh, just knocking him back.
Sandoval of basketball.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah, big panda. We're talking about all these awesome medals that America's won, and we're in 7th. We got 5 golds. China's got 9. France has got 8. Japan's got 8, and so on. If we lose to Great Britain, that's bullshit. I don't think we're going to. There's a lot of Olympics left. We're probably going to win basketball. Definitely feels like that right now. I'm a little worried, to be frank.
What is China winning in?
Badminton.
What are they winning?
Ping pong. All this.
Track.
Okay, so what China did is
Track.
they found the lane the path of least resistance, and then they just went ham. I think their ping pong, one of the ladies on their ping pong team is 63.
Doesn't matter.
And then, they won skateboarding too. Chinese girl, 13, won the skateboarding. Beast.
Dang.
If you start looking at skateboarders these days, they're all Little kids.
They probably train for this shit like year round, and if
100%.
you don't like compete in the top tier of your age group, they like don't feed you for a week.
Yeah, they put you on a boat and then they just let you drift
Right.
off. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's totally why.
This is 100% what happens. But no, I'm
That's
with you.
100% why.
Yeah, I'm like they definitely do, and that was always the thing because like gymnastics, they were like these girls are too young to perform or to do it. Gymnastics is one thing, and skateboarding. Both of those are sports that younger people are better at. Better dexterity, generally
True.
smaller bodies.
True.
So this is something that we're gonna have to look at because when you see 13-year-old girl go skateboarding, and then you see Nyjah Houston, who's very good, but Nyjah Houston's like 30 years old. Like maybe there's like a 14-year-old like Ryan Sheckler type that's just tearing up the game.
What about the males? What about the males in skateboarding? By the way, I didn't even know skateboarding was an Olympic event.
Yeah, so is breakdancing.
What?
Yeah. It's
No
called
kidding.
break. Yeah. They just added it this year.
No kidding. When is gaming going to become an Olympic event?
I think they
that's gonna be a
tried. I
thing
think they
soon.
tried last Olympics and it didn't work. It's going to happen in the next I would say 2 or 3 Olympics.
Really? If that happens, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's
Something
skill
that-
based, dude. It's like ping pong. I think it's valid. I think if you're ever going to do gaming, the Olympics would be the place to do it.
Okay, then have an Olympic fucking foosball team.
Yeah. They play ping pong. Yeah,
What about
do it.
foosball?
That's what I'm
about
saying.
fo-
Do it.
Have
Air
you
hockey?
Ever played foosball? Have you ever played foosball?
Are you saying foosball weird or is this different?
Foosball.
Okay, yeah, I played foosball, yeah.
There's a G in there. Anyways, so foosball.
No, there isn't.
So foosball is a very difficult game, and if you've ever played, I think the requirement to be an Olympic sport is that you have to break a sweat playing it.
Oh, you can sweat
And-
gaming.
How?
Dude, it's a saying. That round was sweaty. Literally.
You're not
I'm not-
physically exerting yourself.
I'm not
in a game.
defending esport kings. I'm just saying, like, in comparison to everything else, it's kind of the same idea. Ping pong and video games are very similar. It's a skill-based game with very little physical activity.
But one is operated by a computer, and
Yep.
the other is operated by these.
Yeah.
It takes real motor.
So
skill
shooting,
and
you have to
athleticism.
get rid of shooting? Same
shooting.
idea.
Shooting hand-eye coordination.
Gaming hand-eye coordination.
It's a fine
Yes.
line.
Literally, they do tests with hand-eye coordination with video games. That's like literally a thing.
Yeah, whatever.
You're not
Continue.
beating me on this one. You're not beating me on this one.
I don't agree with this. If gaming becomes an Olympic sport, I'm never watching the Olympics ever again. How about that?
That's your line. Okay.
Well, I just say if you don't break a sweat playing it, like physically breaking a sweat,
Yeah.
you could sweat the game because it was a close one. Okay,
You don't
whatever.
sweat shooting a
That's
gun.
bullshit.
It's concentration. You're not going to start sweating doing that.
What about those guys that do like those obstacle courses?
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
I mean, skeet shooting in the Winter Olympics.
Arrows?
They have them when you're on skis and you
Uh-huh.
go through the thing, then you have to stop and poof, and then you go through the other thing. And
Mike,
do
you
it
don't
again.
really sweat synchronized diving either.
Then synchronized diving is a very serious sport, and how dare
I know, but you
ever.
put your test at sweating. Like you're not going to sweat doing that. You're going to be
you
really,
could sweat
really,
in water.
really.
Have you ever done laps in a swimming pool? I've sweat
That's
my
not
ass
what I'm
off.
talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Synchronized diving. That's what I'm saying.
Diving takes actual athletic ability, though.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination for video games. Some people are
No.
better than others. Some people
That
are better
is
than others.
so
Video games.
wrong.
That's not true. You haven't argued. Why isn't chess a sport?
To the point, it's not.
It's a game of
Chess
skill.
is not an Olympic sport.
It should
Is
be.
it?
It's a game of skill.
It would fall in the same fucking lines as video games.
Yeah, and shooting and badminton and
Make
ping pong.
Just make fucking Candyland a Olympic event.
Dude,
and
that
there
game's
you
hard.
have
I'm
it.
with you.
No, it's not. It's the first game you play as an infant.
It's true. It bangs. Do you want to talk about a sport that's actually hard to play?
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy named Joel Embiid that's having an exceptionally difficult time right now.
Oh, baby.
U.S. men's are very good. Kevin Durant is very good. Steph Curry's very good. Yeah, we talked about it last week. We're like, hey, are they going to turn it on in time? Is it going to be good? It seems that way. They played South Sudan again, and they beat them by 19, 20 today.
Yep, that was going to happen.
Jason Tatum did get into the game. The first game, he did not get into the game, and the memes were flying everywhere. This time, Joel Embiid stayed on the bench the whole time, and I think that's how it should be for the rest of the Olympics, to be honest.
I don't think that'll happen. I think they're just trying different situations out.
I agree.
You know, until they get to like the final three. I mean,
no, but have you watched how he's playing right now?
He's probably lazy and out of shape.
It's not that. It's like he's trying to get fouls in a FIBA tournament. Like FIBA basketball is way different than NBA. Like you can't like do shit.
You actually have to play defense.
Yeah, like
they don't give cupcake fouls.
There was a game where he laid on the ground yelling at the ref while the game was happening to the point where the ball was coming back the other way. And he's like, oh, I should probably get up. I'm like, why the fuck didn't he just play it in France? Like, he's very good. He's won an MVP, yada, yada, yada. I do not enjoy watching him play basketball, if I'm being
Well, that's
honest.
what he's thinking, Vince. That's what he's thinking. Well, I'm in France. They're soft, so I'll just try and stop every play.
He had an opportunity to play for them.
Oh, there you go.
He could have played for France or America because Cameroon didn't have a team that was going to play in the Olympics. And he chose America because he wanted to go into the God Squad. And Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis are better basketball players than him in the FIBA tournament. Like, clearly.
Yeah, Bam's a dog.
But
not only that,
good.
it's probably a French ref smoking a cigarette. Like, fuck you, Joel. You told me no. Like, and
that would be awesome if French refs could just smoke cigs on the fucking court. Everybody's like, what the like LeBron's like, hey man, can you stop? And he's just like, oh, Marlboro.
Fuck you, Joel. You play point guard for another team. There you go.
Steph Curry dropped 32 today. I think it is very fun to see a God Squad play. That's not like the All-Star game because they don't care about that. Now it's like pride for the country, and as much as the world has taken over the NBA, God damn it, in aggregate, America is still so much better than everybody. And if they do lose a game in this tournament, that is insane. Like this team is insane.
It's like South American countries in soccer. Like there's no chance we're going to be able to compete.
Yeah, but at least there's like Britain and Portugal and teams like in England or in Europe that can do it. Like Copa America, we're fucked.
Look at the 3-on-3 tournament for the male that Jimmer Fredette that we discussed is leading.
Yeah,
they just got smoked 3 games in a row, and they're basically done.
I have questions about this.
Why?
So I have questions about
or 2, by the way.
I know.
That was awesome.
I think it's cool because it is like a little different game, and that was the argument going in. It's like, well, it's a different game. You have to be able to use your different skills to play in it. You can't convince me that putting any 3 NBA players in there and not Jimmer Fredette and the collection of small white dudes that they have on the team, there's no way that they're going to, like, any 3. Just pick them. Fuck it. 3 of the best college players.
I was just about to say it. If the Olympics were smart, they'd take the 3 best college players in the country and put them on that fucking team.
But they don't allow it. You have to play like the big 3 like season to be included in it. That's the only reason why we can't. So all they're doing is just, they're trying to help like Serbia, and not that league, like the European circuit. I think they might be included in it, but I think they're just trying to get like Serbia and Croatia a fighter's chance to win a basketball tournament, if I'm being honest.
Well, Poland just beat the U.S. and they.
Yeah, I mean, we're garbage besides like the lethal shooter of Jimmer Fredette. Like there's no, we're putting in our rec league like Chinese basketball correspondents. Jimmer's not in the NBA for a reason.
Jimmer Fredette, 2K King.
Jimmer Fredette, college basketball legend. Jimmer Fredette shooting from the logo. Steph Curry before Steph Curry. Like that was
the thing.
Man's a monster. And I love him. I respect him. I truly think he was the man. I do not know why that team's been put together like that.
Me either. What are you going to do?
Stupid.
I'm excited for the track and field. I really enjoy like shot put and discus and like real Olympic sports in my eyes.
Keep your eye out for Noah Lyles. Keep your eye out for that man. He is a god.
Lyles.
Yeah, he is probably the most talked about, like social media heavy runner that we have right now. He's a beast. And then also keep your eye out for Evan Jaeger, because Jacob's high school legend.
Evan Jaeger, our alma mater legend in the high school realm. Now, can we talk about one more thing before we move on, Vince?
Please.
Do you remember the Olympic video game that came out with PS2 and how absolutely ridiculously hard that game was?
Hold on.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Hold on.
He disappeared.
I think I have it.
Back.
I think I have it.
No way.
I at least have the PS1 one. I know that.
I just bring up a core memory, and Vince goes into the archetypes of all of his old games.
I have all of my old video games.
If you're watching this on the YouTube, this is a true dork moment amongst friends.
Oh, yeah, I'm a nerd with this shit, man. I keep all my old games.
If you don't have it, this is such time wasted on the
No,
podcast.
I have it. I saw it the other day. This is it.
Yeah,
the Olympic trials game. Yeah.
The most difficult game in PlayStation history.
Trying to play shot put with a PlayStation is fucking impossible.
I mean, it was the most difficult game. They had the Olympic trials. It came out with the PS2, and then like the graphics were beautiful at the time, but this game was impossible to try and like do it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a track runner. And
tapo, let go at the right time, and he never did.
Right.
Or like long jump was
jump.
impossible.
Long jumping was impossible. Shot putting was impossible.
Yeah, man.
It might as well have been like the combine thing on the old Maddens.
Dude,
that was impossible too.
I always got like a D on that and got drafted like second round, and they're like, you might not get playing time, and then I play and get 400 yards in a game. They're like, you might be good. Like, it's such
he
bullshit.
might be all right. He might be.
It's such bullshit. By the way, for the people wondering, I have taken DePaul University to 2 national titles. We went undefeated last season. We are number 1 ranked. We got 6 5-stars this time. So we're on the good roll.
Have you decided to potentially look elsewhere for your
No.
next journey?
I stick where I was, dude. I stick where I was. I love my alma mater. I'm bringing them football glory. I'm not getting out until we get the number 1 recruiting class, and we might be the best team of all time.
See, Tulsa right now, I'm doing a dynasty with Tulsa. I'm an OC, and
you have to leave. You're going to have to leave at some point to take a head coaching job.
Oh, next season I'm getting my shot for sure. But the offense is so legit that it's going to be difficult to get rid of it, but I got to go build my lore of my next step as a man in the college football arena.
Got to take Lincoln Riley's job. That's what your future says.
I mean, yes, it could be that. Also, potentially might look at maybe San Jose State. Maybe get close, or San Diego State.
Why don't you take ASU and just kill it with them?
Maybe ASU almost beat
beautiful
USC
jerseys.
Competed with USC last season in a real life game
when you can't tackle. Yeah, I told you that they lost. Do you remember that?
No. That was U of A.
That was Arizona. Yeah.
ASU,
okay.
I was actually at that game. Shout out to a friend of the podcast, John. We were there, and it was really a nail biter in the first half, and then USC came out, and Zachariah Branch, Caleb, all of them, Brendan Rice, they had an insane second half. So they really pulled away. But that first half, they almost had them.
Yeah, they really. Hopefully their defense is better this year.
If their defense is better this year, I do have faith in Miller Moss and Zachariah Branch, and that connection could be lethal. So speaking of football, Vince, and all of the wonderful things that it brings, we have 3 more weeks.
But we get it this week.
Oh, we get it tonight.
Hall of Fame game. Yeah, it's Thursday.
Nobody want to watch play. But
Caleb will not be in case you're wondering.
Caleb, none of the starters will be in. The Floose is loose and came out and stated yesterday that the Chicago Bears will not have any of their starters present in this lineup at any point
makes sense.
during the game.
Did you hear about his makeover?
Bullshit.
They talked about his makeover.
Bullshit. I think
Why?
less about his makeover. Let's talk about how it's bullshit, Vince.
Why? It's the Hall of Fame game.
These are valuable reps for your young quarterback and a young offense at that. They need as much, even if he goes and hands the ball off 6 times. 2 series.
But there's 2 other preseason games. I'm more so like they probably haven't even installed the total offense with them. But then my other head's like, I heard a report the other day that they were installing the offense in their first meeting they had with him.
I've also heard reports that there's been a shit ton of pre-snap penalties in practice.
Yeah, it's practice.
We're talking about not the game. We're talking
practice. That's what practice is a grain of salt to me.
I don't understand it's a grain of salt, but what I'm getting at though is this is
get some reps in. Yeah.
Listen, if we lose against Tennessee and they blame it on anything other than fucking reps, I'm gonna be pissed.
What, in week 1?
So upset. Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Do you see?
By the way, Nate Davis hasn't started one practice. Just rides the bike. Doesn't get 2.
Yeah, he's kind of an ass. I'm kind of out on Nate Davis. Who, and I'm trying to remember it might have been Kevin Byard or however you say his name. We're talking about Caleb Williams and how he stepped up to be a leader and told everybody to pick up their bottles and treat the facilities with respect. And they all took it with pure confidence and happiness from their leading quarterback. So they're all excited. I hate these stories because we're just going to eat crow at some point if he doesn't work out. It's scaring me.
I do enjoy to hear, veteran guys talk about his ability,
But what else are they going to say?
I mean, DJ Moore wouldn't say that type of stuff about Justin Fields.
Well, DJ Moore always said positive stuff. He's like, he's a great locker room guy, having him around, all that stuff.
Yeah, but he wasn't saying like, God, some of the throws he makes is absolutely insane.
He was less rich at that time. That's something to keep in mind.
Correct. But you want your quarterback to be very good at throwing the football.
Yes.
And some of these videos coming out of him throwing off platform and these throws on the run that are like absolute dots.
He's really good at quarterback, I think. It's the intangibles.
I watched him for 4 years.
Me too, honestly. It's the release. Can he get the ball out in time? Does he make the right reads? Because arm talent's there, leg talent, improvisation's there. Like, I think the offense, hopefully Waldron doesn't lead the league in fucking screen passes again, because that would piss me off. Okay. But honestly, with the wide receivers we have now, I don't mind a couple screen passes if you give it to the right guy.
Speaking of DJ Moore, just got a 4-year, $110 million extension.
This is what I was getting at. $86 million is guaranteed. Congrats. Good. Well earned. Keenan Allen rated higher than him in Madden for some reason, but that's okay. DJ Moore is a pivotal piece of this puzzle. I am interested to see, and we haven't been given this information yet about how it's year by year. I'm hoping it's front-loaded. They're using cap space right now so they can give him less in the future. I hope that's the case, because once you have to sign Caleb, you're going to be if everything goes as well as we want, we're going to have to sign him in 4 years. Or 3 years,
they're nobody's dummy, right? They're trying to make sure they lock down these guys here for the next 4 years. And,
sure, but I'm just saying, like, if
Caleb,
if you can beef it up this year, give them 2 years that are just beefy. And then the end, it gives you more options at the end of the contract is the idea. But yeah. I'm interested to see how they did that.
Well, it's usually how it works. And at times, guys, if they're team guys, in quote, they'll take a payday early. Like Tom Brady used to do that stuff all the time.
He was big such pay cut guy.
Player. It's like, dude, they weren't pay cuts. It's like, hey, if we give you this $25 million now, are you cool with that? He'd be like, yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, he got all the money he needs and more at this point.
Nobody takes a pay cut. You just
it's team-friendly deal. Who did the most recent team-friendly deal? I'm trying to remember who that was. It? Oh, yeah, because he adjusted his contract. But he's still the highest-paid quarterback in the league, so riddle me that. Yeah, I think it's a good move, to be honest.
Vince, did you happen to see the Hard Knocks trailer come out?
Yeah, I was rock hard.
Man.
I'm excited now.
I could have hung towels on how big of a deal that stiffy was. Oh, my God. It starts and it goes into, like, all the speeches of Dicka and Buckus and Singletary. And, oh, it's just awesome. And then it just shows it's just like, ba-da-da-da, and the music starts, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I didn't want this, but hey, no, I want this.
I know. That's how I feel, too. And you get to see hot Eberflus. I do know that you didn't want to talk about his makeover, but his daughter did say that she takes claim for the hair, and they had a concerted effort to be like, hey, you got to clean up how you look because you look like a clown. And I think they did a good job. I think we have a handsome guy, and handsome guys win Super Bowls. Andy Reid's my first example. Look at how handsome that guy is.
Look at that mustache.
He's a handsome guy. He's an absolute yolk. He's a big boy, but he's handsome. Goddamn.
Hey, winner of the punt, pass, and kick in 1978.
What did he play? Left guard, tight end?
He was
tackle.
He was a unit. Yeah.
I think he was a tackle back in the day.
Big dude. Great athlete. Either way, you love to see it. I'm jacked for it. I am. Vince, fantasy drafts are starting soon.
Yeah, man.
And this year, Uncle Mike is not participating.
Yeah, you're
Many
out.
years, almost 20 years of fantasy grind, because it is a grind.
Yeah, man.
And this year I decided I need a break. But that still doesn't mean we're not going to talk about fantasy.
Because I'm playing 2 leagues.
Vince is playing 2 leagues. If you need me to step in and be armchair GM, I will more than happy support you.
I'm all good. I appreciate that,
but
though.
I am kind of excited not setting a lineup every Sunday. I'll probably take those funds that I would have put to the 2 leagues I would have been a part of.
Toss a couple bets here and there.
And just throw some money down here or there. To be like, I got a good feeling about this. Let's play it out.
It's the same thing, and you're not stuck with somebody for 16 fucking weeks. So it's honestly better off. Yeah.
Correct. And not only that, especially if you get one too many drinks going in your fantasy draft, you start making drafts like Odell Beckham's around in the 16th round.
Holy shit, Jeremy Shockey in the 2nd round? You're like, dude, it's 2024.
Dude, Priest Holmes is available right now at the last pick. It's like,
he's my favorite football player of all time.
I know. Vince's favorite running back of all time.
Never forget it. Might be my favorite football player ever.
Priest Holmes was amazing.
I used to have that jersey. Don't forget.
You still got it somewhere?
Somewhere in my mom and dad's house. I might have to frame that shit.
You got to give it to your kid.
Honestly, yeah, but the numbers are all taken off and there's grass stains and shit. I got a lot of wear.
You should send it to Priest and be like, could you sign this and send it back to me? I bet you he'd sign it.
He's going to be like, how old are you? He'd be like 30 almost.
You were my favorite Madden 03. Hey,
yeah, I draw it with my hands like this to make it look like I'm a little kid.
I mean, nobody's going to remember him except people who are damn near 30 anyway. So
that's true. It's a good point.
Right?
It's a damn good point.
But no, so we got fantasy starting soon. Vince, are there certain positions you're high on? Quarterback, wide receiver, running back? Is there somebody like is there a sleeper? I'm famously known for calling out the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be an absolute dog in this league. And so there you go.
I got Amon-Ra on my other draft, and it ended up working out great for me last year. How it goes for me is usually like everybody else. It can be good or bad. I often don't finish in the middle. I finish in the top 4 or like the bottom 4. There's no in between when I'm playing fantasy. There's a couple guys that I thought of, and this is also a brief reminder. There's a lot of guys that are not on the same team anymore. Like all the dudes you remember from last year that are on a team. A lot of those guys aren't on the same team anymore. One, to be clear, is a guy by the name of Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler might get overdrafted this year because Brian Robinson's on that team too, and they're going to want to split carries. He's on the Washington Commanders with their rookie quarterback. What's one thing that a lot of rookie quarterbacks do? Dump and runs, dude. He's going to dump the ball off to Austin Eckler at least 15 times a fucking game. I'm so confident in it. I'm probably going to draft him. But I'm not going to draft him first 2 rounds. I'm going to draft him 3rd or 4th if he's still there. Because I don't know where people are going to value him. And that's my biggest worry now is like half of these guys, I don't know how they're going to get valued.
Well, I think a value pick, if we're going to talk about value picks, let's just stick on the running back position.
Yeah.
If you look at the PFF grades over the past year and a half, a guy who sticks out that has very similar production as some of the best running backs in all the NFL, and he's really not a starter, but he gets the type of volume you would want to see in a game, especially in goal line or in they call red zone or gold zone territory type predicaments, is a guy by the name of Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert, in my opinion, if you're drafting this year, low key, that's somebody to pay attention to.
I don't love that.
Why?
There's a lot of guys on that team. A lot of guys need to get fed this year.
Roshan Johnson's not going to get fed that much. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, DeAndre Swift's going to be our one back, and
No,
we
he's
also
not.
have. Yeah, he is.
He's
Easily.
a third down back. He's your passing down
DeAndre
back.
Swift is. He's our starting running back. He's going to be in play 1, game 1 right away. 15
You
minutes on
think
the clock,
so?
put him in. 100%. So confident. Dude, people are rating him like a top 7, 8 running back in the league.
That's ridiculous.
I'm just
disagree with
saying,
that.
he was very good on the Eagles. I'd like to say that. He was also pretty good on the Lions when he was on that team. I think Khalil Herbert's going to get a lot, but you got 2 tight ends you got to feed. Maybe 3. Depends on how you rank them. Mercedes Lewis's old ass. You have Keenan. You got Rome. You got DJ. Like, Caleb's going to probably be improvising. They're probably going to throw the ball more. Like, I could see it, but he gets scared about that kind of thing. But, 12th round. Or
He's also
waiver poll.
over the past 3 years injury prone. Why? I'm not saying take Khalil Herbert in the first 5 rounds.
Right, old.
I'm saying
Yeah,
take
sleeper.
Khalil Herbert as
Yeah.
a value pick.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. That's something in particular.
Well, he's been injured
that-
too because they're overrunning the shit out of him because we didn't have anything going on.
Correct. I get it, but what I am getting at is I think that is a value pick, and I also you're going to have a wonderful passing game. You have to have a sound running game.
People are
Okay.
going to overdraft Tank Dell too. That's really
Yeah,
gonna happen.
Tank Dell, I do believe that'll be an overdraft.
He
I
was
think
so
Stephon
good
Diggs
last
may
year.
have to-
Right, Diggs comes in, Joe Mixon comes in. Like, you have other guys you got to feed now. Is probably going to end up going down a little bit too. So keep that in mind.
Dalton Schultz might be a guy to target. I think
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz is somebody who might get slept on, as he got slept on last year.
Yeah.
A lot of people picked him up. He was great on the Cowboys, also great on the Texans. Kind of a security blanket type
What's
of
he?
a role.
Dalton
I-
Schultz starting. Jake Ferguson's still on the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah. I would stay away. Jake Ferguson, to your point, still on the Cowboys. I would stay away from any Bears tight end because there's already so
Yeah.
many weapons that
Dude, Cole,
I just
though.
don't know.
Cole might have a year. I think Cole might have a year, man.
Yeah, but historically, Caleb, even in college, he didn't target the tight ends.
Yeah, he's gonna spread that offense out coast to coast right
He
now.
spreads the ball out very well. So one game, yeah, Cole might pop off, but it's not going to be consistent production that you need from positions, especially in fantasy.
Yeah.
Now, some other guys I'd like to highlight who I do believe could be value picks because I was always a big value pick guy. And he's always right there, especially for goal line work. David Montgomery. I mean, he was
Yeah.
last year. That guy. Kind of preaching the choir here.
What do you
But
think they're
I-
going to be doing with not Khalil Herbert, excuse me. What are they going to be doing with Jahmyr Gibbs? Thank you, Jesus. Like, is he going to
think
get more
Jahmyr
this
Gibbs-
year? Is he going to get
I-
more of a load?
Yeah, I think there's more load there.
Jamal Williams type beat for David Montgomery this year?
Jamal Williams. I
More
think is-
play, but you know what I'm saying.
No, Montgomery will take the target share of the goal line work.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
He's a
That
big boy.
offense isn't going to look that much different. The defense needed to change, in particular the secondary.
Can we have an NFC North conversation real quick?
Sure.
I am conflicted as to how this is going to go. I've seen a lot of stuff come from people that Bears are going to be 12-5. Bears are going to be trying to get to the top of the division. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think we're probably going to hover around 10, maybe 11 wins if we're very good. I'm thinking 8, 9, 10. That's where my spot is. The Packers are going to be a lot better. I saw on Rich Eisen they were talking about Jordan Love having a better chance at MVP than Aaron Rodgers this year. I thought it was funny, but it's definitely not impossible. The Lions are going to be just as good as they were last year. Not a lot has changed on their team. Vikings aren't going to be very good. So, like, are 3 teams making the playoffs in the in the NFC North this year?
I think one team out of the 3 you just proposed,
One of them's getting screwed, right?
one of them's going to get a shaft, or they're going to be far worse than originally thought of. I could see the Lions potentially having a sophomore slump.
Yeah, but not, like, out of the playoffs, I don't think. I'm thinking maybe
Well, it's just
The
only
Bears
other
have the
team I
most
look at-
likely. The Bears are the most
Yes.
likely to have a bad time. That's
Statistically
my worry.
discussing statistically, the Bears are far more likely
I'm so
to
worried.
shit the bed than any other team. But
Yeah.
just history proves that. I hope not. We all hope
Me
not.
too. Me
There's a
too,
lot of
man.
hope. There's
I
a lot
just-
of hope here.
It was like 1 a.m. the other day, and I was like, "Oh no, oh Jesus, this doesn't look
Well,
good to me."
Sam Darnold, man, don't sleep on him. I think the NFC
Yeah,
North
first
is
like
gonna
2
be very
weeks, 3 weeks
competitive.
until JJ takes over.
JJ is not taking over.
I'm
Have
fucking with you. I
seen-
know. He looks amazing. I'm with you. He looks amazing.
He looks horrible.
No, Sam Darnold looks amazing.
Sam Darnold, he's finally in an offense that suits him, and he actually has weapons around him. He can get.
I
the
think
ball
San
to.
Fran suited him too last year. It was
Yeah,
Purdy
see the-
season.
Yeah,
It was
Purdy
Purdy
season,
season.
and Purdy's going to continue to be a dog.
No, to
Now,
your
one guy-
to your point though, that's benefiting him. Like he went to San Francisco and played in an offense that was way better, and he probably got a lot of good reps in practice that are going to make him better this year.
Don't take Sammy D lightly, man. Don't take the Vikings lightly. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat.
My
they
mono
got Aaron-
king, kids see ghosts sometimes. That kind of shit.
They got Aaron Jones in that backfield now. Jordan
Yeah.
Addison, Justin Jeff. I mean, come
Yep.
on.
Fourth in the North, bud.
TJ Hawkinson, like you completely forget how many fucking dogs are on
Yeah.
that team offensively. Now
Dude,
defensively they need some help, but
If Detroit didn't get lucky with their current tight end, they would really miss TJ
Sam
Hawkinson.
Laporta.
Yeah, they would
Sam
really be missing TJ Hawkinson.
I mean, of course, like your top 5 has to be Kelsey, Laporta, Hawkinson. and
Come
then-
on, there's one, bud, that you're really like. I can't believe you put Laporta and Hawkinson over him. George
Who?
Kittle, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, but George Kittle is
No,
he's
wrong.
wonderful. I have a total bromance with George Kittle after watching the receiver doc, but he's just
Yeah.
always hurt.
I know, but he's also like probably second best at receiving and the best blocking tight end in the league.
Correct. I'm not saying those things aren't valuable and real, but what I am also saying is that a guy needs to be on the field to produce fantasy.
Availability is the best ability. Essentially, is how you rank
Correct.
it
And
out.
Sam
Gotcha.
Laporta, you know what's funny is half of those
He
guys
got
we
injured.
just named, half of those guys we just named, all fucking Iowa. All
Yeah.
went to Iowa.
There's 2 schools that raise tight ends, Mike, and you know who they are. I don't even have to say.
Iowa.
And ha ha ha! Don't say it. Don't giggle. You know, I know what you're thinking. I can see it in your eyes.
The U.
Notre Dame, yeah, the University of Notre Dame. Good call. What you thinking, Greg Olson?
I'm thinking Greg Olson. Thinking Jeremy Shockey. I'm thinking
Shockey.
Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, first or second.
Second one, unfortunately.
I'd
But he
prefer-
was a
yeah.
stud.
That's like
Kellen
saying Florida's
Winslow,
tight end.
before
University.
he got like really in prison,
Yeah,
he was really good at football. A lot of people forget that.
he was very good. He was a Cleveland Brown for a while and was very good.
He was a
which is
Cleveland Brown and then got
crazy.
arrested.
Yeah, wasn't he on the Jets for a year? Yeah, he's in jail forever. I feel bad for his dad for having to see that.
People forget that he's in jail forever. So is Darren Sharper.
Yeah, no, he's like a serial. Or sorry, X that out because YouTube's gonna pull us off for saying that. He's a serial sexual assaulter.
He's a serial diddler.
Yeah, nasty work. Cosby type numbers, to be frank.
Hey, Cosby's innocent, man. Zibbity zibbity the zob the zob.
Wrong.
Get the
Not-
pudding pops. Anyway,
Not guilty doesn't mean innocent. I'll say that for sure.
so here's a good one, Vince. You know,
Okay.
of course, the usual suspects are there. We could go until we're dead on who we think is going to be what, but we
Mm-hmm.
never know. But 2 positions in fantasy that some people really choose to value, depending on your league, because some people add another wide receiver or running back or flex
Yeah.
spot and omit one of these, but defense and kicker. So what are your defense and kickers that you could see being a thing this year?
Homer pick, but the Bears were top 5 in the second half of the season last year. They got Byard. They added a couple guys to this, and they also were second or third year into this defense. Like, they're going to be a lot better. They'll probably be a top 5 defense, and I think they're going to be ranked properly doing that. You know, you want to stick with the Steelers because if the Steelers are going to be successful, it's going to be on the defense. Mike Tomlin, defensive-minded head coach. one thing I like to do when it comes to fantasy defenses is grab defenses on teams with really good offense. And the reason I do that is because oftentimes those offenses are up by a touchdown or 2 or 3, which require the other team to throw the ball and air it out, which may give you interceptions. So that's my strategy. It's worked really well in the past for defenses that are mid, but they do have to protect the pass for a considerable amount of time. So I would say look out for that. And also Harrison Butker because that's Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker. If you can't get either of those guys,
regardless if you agree or disagree with Harrison Butker's claims that women should stay in the kitchen, he's a
Good
wonderful kicker.
Yeah.
Wonderful kicker.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? Like teams that score a lot on the offensive side lead into takeaways a lot more often. It's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if the defense
100%.
isn't great, they're gonna throw the ball more, air it out.
It's a wise thought process. I don't disagree with that. I mean,
thank you. My brain's great. My brain's on 2 days no food, so it's pretty good right now.
No, my brain's on 3, so
all right,
no
this
fault
isn't a
for
fucking
this
competition, Mike.
Well, I'm not eating for a month, and I might die, but fuck off.
That's fine. You won. You won.
Anyways, I do agree with that thought process. I think like Kansas City's defense, always kind of a low-key sleeper. Of course, the 49ers always something to target.
Yeah.
But I think Detroit this year could see an uptick in defense. They really cured that issue of their secondary, which
that was the biggest
last year
issue for the whole team last year. Like they needed to fix that.
And as the NFC North goes, I do agree with the fact that the Bears, they look on paper, they look really good. But
brother, top 5 second half of the season, bringing home a lot of guys, and then getting a couple more dudes. Oh, also Simone Biles' husband. Jonathan
Do you know
Owens.
that he's nothing to write a book about. He's
I know, but still, we got Simone Biles on our side, and she's a gold medalist. So,
do you know what he said on a podcast about his wife? That they asked who's the catch in a relationship, the male or the female? And he's like, always the male because this, and that. And he's like, before I even started dating my wife, I had no idea who she was.
No, he's an idiot.
What?
I didn't see that because that's not true. I've been making jokes this last week. Like, you guys see what Jonathan Owens' wife did? Because they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like,
"Who the fuck is that?" Exactly.
And they're like,
if
"Fuck you!" And I'm like, "It's obviously, clearly a joke. No one knows who Jonathan Owens is unless they're like as ingrained in the Bears as we are, or the Packers last year. That's the only people that know who Jonathan Owens is. Every person in America knows who Simone Biles is."
I'm really hoping the Jordan Love thing goes away really quickly, even though he just got a bag. So
yeah, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. I think we're going to be in 2011 again if everything works out the way it should.
Well,
should we talk about baseball?
Yeah,
I think we. Yeah,
let's talk about worse things. So it's a trade deadline, Vince.
Yeah, let's talk about Jizz Chazell.
What?
Jizz Chazell?
Who's Jizz Chazell?
The old Marlins guy, Jizz Chazell.
Chaz Chisholm?
Jazz Chisholm. You said Chaz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm. I've been calling him Jizz Chazell this whole week, and it's hilarious.
What's the full name of Jazz? What's your name? Jazarian?
I would like to say it's like similar to people that are named Jack nowadays. I know that used to be like a Jonathan nickname, but people are just named, or like Jimmy Butler's just Jimmy.
Yeah, Jim.
He's not James Butler. His name is Jazrado Prince Hermes Arrington Jazz Chisholm Jr. Mind you, he's from Nassau, the Bahamas, so it's a little bit of a different place for names. Yeah, but Jazrado Prince Hermes Arrington Chisholm Jr. He hit 3 second straight 2-home run game, 4 home runs in his first 3 games as a New York Yankee. First clip I see of him, Yankee hat backwards a little bit to the side. I'm like, oh, there's people in New York that are having actual brain aneurysms right now because this man is gangsta, literally, like wearing his hat gangsta in a New York uniform. I love it. I think it's good. I think the Yankees rules are so fucking stupid, and they have been for so long. Let guys have beards. Let dudes show their personality. This is great. And also, he got ranked the most overrated player in the MLB by the players last year. Part of me feels like that's like kind of par for the course for being on the Marlins. It's like anybody coming to the White Sox. Like, you're not going to be better off.
Look at like Christian Yelich. He was stuck in purgatory out there.
He was
and then
young.
just
He was young, but yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, it's the same principle. You got to be happy for the guy. We discussed this a few weeks ago on the podcast. If he did get traded to New York, which tea leaves kind of read that way.
Well, that was the whole thing. It was like, if he goes to New York, like, no one's going to like his attitude. And then, like, not even 3 days later, he's on the Yankees. I'm like, yeah.
And then they're in love with him. And we just discussed it. Like, his performance was going to show all. And that short porch in right has really served him well.
Nice to him. Yeah, nice to him. He's having a nice time.
And he's also a defensive king. And what is he? He's hitting up center for them.
He's center second. I don't know where he played the last couple days, but he's been playing center for Miami. Let's see here. Let me look at this Baseball Reference. We got him in 5 and 8, buddy.
He is legit an athletic freak, so he can really play anywhere.
He's
the closest thing to
games.
Dion the Yankees have had since Dion.
His slugging percentage is
awesome.
1.12 right now. that is insane. His OPS is 1.638. I mean, I know it's 3 games, but that's just so funny to see in a Baseball Reference.
Truly insane to watch, and you love to see something at the trade deadline happen, like a video game where it's like when you traded for a guy in MLB The Show and he gets on your team, just absolutely rakes you. Like, this is why I did this.
Raking. Yeah, I mean, and I think the Yankees could use that. I don't think they're going to win a World Series this year, but regardless, I think they could use that. Now, South Side.
No, not yet.
No, okay.
No, not yet. Let's talk about the complete just swap of the same player that the Cubs and the Rays did.
Oh, with Isaac Paredes.
Isaac Paredes for Christopher Morel. It's the same person.
Never forget, Isaac Paredes makes his MLB debut at the Cell against the White Sox. He walks up, and Jason Benetti goes, "It's not Isaac, it's Isaac Paredes," and he's making his MLB debut, and I will remember that for maybe the rest of my life. Yeah, I mean, Morel has played, 2 games, and has been amazing for the Rays, somehow. Paredes is very good. High prospect. What is he, 25 now? Maybe even 23?
Yeah.
He could be good for the Cubs, but, it is, I was talking to my brother about it. He's like, yeah, I like it, I guess. I don't know. Because Morel was also getting overrated to the fucking moon at the beginning of the season this year.
Yeah, and I watched his spring training live. He could not play third base to save his life, so they're better off putting him back in left field. Or
he was center last year. Or 2 years
ago?
Which
I think is smart because he is not an infielder. He is
a burner. He is a burner, so I would give him that.
Yeah, so the Cubs were trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. I don't know if you saw Jack Leiter got traded.
Yep. Mark Leiter Jr.
Yeah.
Jack Leiter, still on the Rangers, I think. Arozarena.
Randy?
To the Mariners. Goes fucking yard first game. Tampa Bay kind of selling off some of the old guys, bringing to the new one. Seattle's whole issue was getting to the playoffs and performing. Randy Arozarena might be the best playoff hitter of all time. Every time he's in the playoffs, he hits 4 home runs a game. This was the perfect guy for this team. Perfect guy for this team, in my opinion.
Wasn't there some word on the street that the Mariners were also trying to add another starting pitcher, like a Fetty, which got moved to the Cardinals, which is a very nice piece for them.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into. But I thought that
I have
Blake
opinions
Snell
on
was
that.
getting floated around.
Yeah, he didn't get moved from San Fran. He's always a possible trade prospect in the middle of the season, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's always a conversation about that. Zach Eflin getting moved to Baltimore. Baltimore did a really good job this year of adding a couple guys, but not, blowing the load. We'll get into our boy getting traded. I believe the Cardinals might have had the best trade deadline, personally.
Who did the Cardinals add other than Fetty?
They got Fetty. They got Tommy Pham, who we had before.
Oh, yeah, that they won automatically.
Tommy Pham's been the only exciting guy for the White Sox this year.
Yeah, and he was a
late ad. Yeah, a late ad.
A late ad that nobody wanted.
And we get it back. Can we talk about the White Sox? Can we do that?
Yeah, let's talk about the White Sox.
It's I'm not going to make this a big, fucking... Obviously, they're bullshit. Obviously, they're the worst team to ever play baseball, ever. Also, LA had a great had a great deadline for what it's worth. The Dodgers. I've talked to a lot of people that like the White Sox, a lot of people in my circle that are White Sox fans that are mad about the amount of people we got back for these trades. And to that I say, who the fuck were we trading, man?
Yeah,
where is the value? There's no value. Eric Fetty wasn't good until he played this year. He was a bad, used up, not good pitcher. We got him late for a cheap deal and traded him to the Cardinals at the peak of his ability, and we got barely anything back because it's fucking Eric Fetty. Like, you're looking at guys that they traded off that were supposed to be good that aren't. Eloy Jimenez, not good. Moncada should have been traded. He was the number one prospect. Isn't good anymore. What do you expect people to pay for those guys? Like, you're looking at potential of a 27-year-old man. Like, their potential's here, man. Like, that's what it's going to be for the rest of his stuff.
Well, I've been beating on the table to trade Eloy Jimenez. Good riddance to that floppy piece of shit. He's about
you got impassioned. You got impassioned in the Taxi Squad IG today.
He is about as useless as that milkshake that you can consume at a ball game. That's the highlight.
At least that makes you fat.
Campfire milkshake, right?
Yeah.
Just watching him run in general was an absolute joke. Baby deer, absolute garbage. Now, when you look at this trade deadline, we acquired 3 top 20 prospects from the
top 20 in their system.
Top 30 because some of them were ranked in the mid-20s there. So in the Dodgers system, we got 3 guys who may make the big leagues in the next 5 years. And that's where we're headed. We're going back to the complete blow it up.
It's
rebuild.
bad, man. Mike, we've lost 17 in a row. And I don't even want to say we. They've lost fucking 17 games in a row. If you look at the standings right now, there's like an extra indent in the last 10 because it's never 0-10. So they had to make like extra room for the 10 to fit into the standings. It's fucking atrocious, dude. It's brutal.
I heard some astronomical figure the other day, like if you bet against the White Sox over the past like month, you'd be up like $100,000 or something.
This has been a thing that part of my take's been doing for a couple of years is like they'll pick the worst team in the MLB and just fade them for the whole season. And they did that for the Athletics and it was good 2 years ago. They did that for the Pirates last year, didn't work out too well. If you did it for the White Sox, it'd be a fucking gold mine. Like, and mind you now, anybody that had a semblance of talent on the team is gone now completely. Like, outside of Crochet and Robert, obviously, those are the 2 best players that the Sox will see in the next 5 years. Easy. Like, surprised Crochet didn't get moved. Happy he didn't, because he's the only thing I like watching.
Well, they're not going to re-sign him because Chris Getz automatically in these interviews now, post-deadline, is coming out and just talking all this shit about Garrett Crochet and his camp and how I didn't understand why we couldn't just have a conversation and we thought we had
he was
one
mad
deal
because
in
he was
place.
going to sign an extension with another team. They were mad about that. Who does he?
Why don't you try and pay the guy? Why don't you try and pay
Mike?
the guy? Although Crochet's camp did ruin the entire trade value prop for the White Sox. They ruined it. But
they also fucked him over, though, too. Like,
I would have called the bluff.
I find it difficult to expect a player to respect that team, personally. He got drafted onto the team. He didn't get to choose the team he went to. He got drafted to the White Sox. The White Sox are a shit-stain organization. It's my favorite team in baseball. Like, the amount of reports that I'm coming out the last couple days about, like, allowing players to be lazy. Obviously, we talked about not being able to stretch, or not being forced to stretch or do BP. They made batting practice, like, required, like, 2 days ago. You could have just walked up and just hit a ball and just said, fuck it, I haven't hit in 2 days, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit this. Like, that organization is a fucking mess. Like, top to bottom, Reinsdorf, La Russa, Pedro Grifol, complete dumpster fire. I've talked to people and they're like, you can't blame this person, you can't blame this person. Every single person on that team is a mess. Like, I've never been this apathetic about a team in my life. I am getting mad right now because I love them, obviously, but I have not watched more than half a game this year because it's fucking sadistic. It's brutal. 17 in a row losing. Finally make batting practice mandatory is crazy. Stretching not being mandatory is crazy. And that's why all these dudes are getting injured. They're not doing shit. They're just being lazy and walking out there and hoping that talent counts. It doesn't. And then Chris Getz trades all the guys that he failed at developing. He was in the farm systems previous. He developed them into being shitty MLB players and then traded them off. He got incentivized for being horrible at his job. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's
sorry. That was my fucking
loyalty to a fault, essentially, which is what they did. Rick Hahn had been trying to get out for years, wanted to quit. They wouldn't let him quit.
I don't blame him anymore. I hated him then.
No, I don't hate the guy at all. I met.
I
him
like
and
him
he's
now.
Very kind.
I don't blame him.
His hands were tied. He couldn't do what he wanted to do. He couldn't spend money. He wanted to go out and get a Manny Machado. He wanted to spend money on guys that were going to make his team great, but that didn't happen. And this is just telltale signs of a team that just wants to make money. Just be remotely decent enough to get fans in the stands and make money off of that.
They're the worst team ever. Right now.
You look at I know, but you look at the Bulls. It's clearly to fund what the Bulls are going to be next gen, which is going to be a big entertainment district outside of the UC. And if you're unaware of this, the same owner of the Chicago Bulls owns the Chicago White Sox, a lovely gentleman by the name of Jerry Reinsdorf. And now
Lovely's funny. I fucking hate that guy.
You can read through all of the games and the angling of making one team terrible and then trying to invest more into the surroundings of your other stadium, which it's in a far nicer and up-and-coming area, being West Loop, West Town.
Yeah.
And that is what the focus and money has gone towards over the past 5 years now. Not a rebuild. Not anything that mattered. And to add insult to injury, Yoan Moncada will not be returning in 2024 due to...
Say it? I love this. This is so funny.
Anticipated soreness.
What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean? I think I'm going to be sore. I'm out.
You know, I think I'd get really sore if I lifted weights, so I'm not going to lift weights.
That's like trying to lose weight and you're just like looking at fruits and vegetables. You're like, I'm going to get skinny off of this.
Vince, in a perfect world, do you think we re-sign Crochet? Like, would you want him? I would want him. But I just don't know.
Before I say that, I did look up the definition of elder abuse, and you can emotionally abuse an elder. So I was going to say, if I ever met Jerry Reinsdorf, I would be so mad. Wouldn't attack him. I'm not a physical, violent guy, but I would say the most obscene shit to him. But it is illegal, so I won't.
I would say thank you for ruining my baseball team, you decrepit old piece of shit.
Thank you for ruining two of my top 3 favorite sports. Thank you for just destroying them completely by being a horrible guy and only getting lucky with Michael Jordan because you bought the team the year after he was drafted. You fucking idiot.
Well, Jerry Krause did have a lot to do with rebuilding that team.
I agree, which was fine and all and dandy, but they're not winning shit without Michael Jordan. And I know for a fact he would have drafted a big fucking lug of a European guy because he's just into that bullshit and would have fucked him over then too. So I can't even give him credit for that. Regardless, outside of that, yes, I would like to keep him. Will he stay? Fucking no way. Why? Where is a better place to pitch besides Chicago?
Anywhere else, basically.
Done. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not signing it. He's just going to go and be a free agent, or they're going to trade him for peanuts, and he'll be fine.
He still has 2 years to control, so...
Yeah, but just pitch really well and move. Chris Sale.
They're going to move.
Same shit.
They're going to move him at the winter meetings for a haul.
Yeah.
And we'll get fleeced as we always do because we don't have an analytics department, so we can't really do our due diligence. Love that word. When people say that in business,
corporate
by the
talk.
way, why do I want to punch them squarely in the dick?
Because it's a holdover for half the things you want to say.
It's literally a holdover for I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so I have to go back and do more homework.
I'm always just like, hey, don't have an answer for you. Let me figure it out. Now, I'm going to go do my due diligence. Like, that's not your due diligence.
I think I need to do more due diligence on that.
That's what Jerry Reinsdorf needs to do about learning about how fucking baseball works, you stupid idiot.
He just doesn't give the funding to the people who want it.
He makes all of these calls. I am so confident in it. And Chris Getz, he's got an arm up to here inside Chris Getz' ass, and he's just making him talk.
He stifles the money to where you can't do anything. So, hey, here's your budget. This is where we have to stay in. Well, I want this guy and he wants this. Tough shit. Get the guy below him. Okay.
I think they are, unless the Royals did, but I think they are the only team that hasn't paid $100+ million contract. Like,
well, no, the Royals paid Bobby Witt Jr. because
that's what I'm saying. So that's it. We're here. That's it, man. It's like,
man,
the
Bobby
White
Witt
Sox,
Jr.
the fucking Athletics are going to Sacramento and then maybe getting moved to a place that nobody wants them, and they're still somehow not the worst fucking team in the league. That is obscene.
Hey, TLR said we were going to surprise some people this year.
Yes, they're surprisingly bad. I didn't think it could get this bad. Truly.
It's really bad. Now, okay, so we have the 17-game active switch. Paul DeYoung switched dugouts. That was cool.
That was fun. He gets traded, walks over. 2 minutes later, there's an interview, and he's got a Royals cap on.
He was a highlight of our year to date.
Uh-huh.
Like he actually played really well, and he's going to be a great piece on that roster for the Royals, who are competing in the AL Central, by the way.
Certainly.
But Vince, why don't we talk about the top prospects of the White Sox, shall we?
We have some.
Let's just talk about our prospect
We got
rankings
Gueros or whatever. We got the catcher guy from the Padres,
Colson Montgomery,
who's been playing like dick this year, unfortunately.
Right. Everybody thought his trajectory was going to
Corey
be
Seager.
that of Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Noah Schultz, who his ETA to the Prigs is going to be 2026.
6'9", by the way. I saw a video of him the other day, and he's the size of Bam Adebayo.
He's a monster. Chicago kid too, so that's pretty cool. Edgar Quiro, who we
Padres
got in
guy.
the Angels deal. This might be the one.
Angels or Padres? Dylan Cease, no?
No. This was the deal for both of Giolito and Ronaldo.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Yep. So I like this deal. I think he's actually going to be a dog, switch hitting catcher, and has a cannon. Brian Ramos, surprised he hasn't seen the bigs yet. I think he will be up, and I think he's a bright side. He's a bright side.
We'll see.
And then Gerald Perez, 2027, and
don't forget Jacob Gonzalez, draft pick. He's another guy that gets thrown into the storm of hell.
Yeah, this is pathetic.
It's pathetic. Everything is bad. We barely have a top 100 guy in general. It's like so bad. It's so bad.
Hey, Jake Berger was a first-round draft pick, Vince.
Jake Berger is so good at baseball for Miami. Jake Berger's so good. But we got rid of him to keep who? Yohan Moncada, who has never been good ever. It's like so...
there you go.
It's mind-numbing how they stick to guys because they love them.
The Cubs knew exactly what we were doing, even though we got Cease out of that deal. So
I talked to my brother about this. Both trades we made with the Cubs, neither team won. It's really wild. The Cubs got Madrigal. Madrigal was shit for them. He doesn't even play for them right now. We got Craig Kimbrely. Is horrible for us. We trade Jose Quintana for Cease and Eloy. Both of them suck. Quintana sucked for the Cubs. He was out. Like, no one won. Like, nothing happened.
This was just a trade piece, and we'll see how those guys...
He's so good. He didn't do that much for us. He got us a couple prospects that I don't think are going to be that good because I think we got fleeced in the package. It's like the Marlins got a lot of good guys in this trade deadline, and somehow the White Sox, and I think this is because we barely have any talent to give people, but we didn't get shit this whole deadline. We just got rid of everybody we had, and we didn't get shit. So.
Well, it goes to show you we're rebuilding for 2028. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be a fun 5 years.
It's the slow wait until Jerry Reinsdorf's final demise.
Okay. Do we lose 30 games this year in a row or 100 losses?
The latter. We're going to stumble into one, but we are going to lose over 100 games easy.
Okay. What happens first? We win a division or the White Sox sell the team?
The latter again. I think he's setting them up perfectly to have as little cash flow as possible and then dump them. That's what I think he's going to do.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, you know what we do have, though?
A milkshake.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Campfire milkshake.
We got a milkshake, man. We got awesome food.
And John Schriffen.
Oh, man.
Fuck yeah.
I should have turned more lights on. It got dark in here. I look like I'm telling you spooky stories, but it is the White Sox, so it is
a
pretty
vampire. Spooky. I needed to get that up. That wasn't a podcast. That was therapy for me. That
What
was
Vince.
I've been
really
holding
talking
this
down
all
to his
in.
soul?
I haven't talked to anybody about them and how bad they are, and I just unloaded. So thank you all for taking that.
Oh, it's the same thing. We didn't think it could get worse. It's that bad.
It can.
And then you
It
watch
always
a
can
team
now.
like the Royals, where it's like, wow, what it would be like to have a guy like a Bobby Witt Jr., who's just a phenom.
Yeah.
And he's hitting grand slams when it matters the most. And he's making plays from the outfield dirt that are just truly
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And they got
And
pieces around them, and it's
and
nice.
it's just to think, like, if we had that, we'd probably fuck it up.
Oh, 100%. Oh, we wouldn't make them stretch, so they would pull their hamstring in the first fucking game because it's not mandatory.
Done.
Eloy Jimenez in the Baltimore Orioles organization is going to be crazy. That guy's for the rudest awakening of all time. To go up and they'd be like, you have to stretch. And he'd be like, oh, I never had to do that before. I was like, I have deer legs. I don't know if I can't.
Either that or he's going to be injured within the first 20 minutes. He's
Or
he's
gonna-
a flyer piece for them.
Or he's going to hit 50 home runs next year, and we're just going to have to watch it happen.
Time will in fact tell. Speaking of the Orioles, Jackson Holliday hit his first career home run today, and it was a grand slam.
Salami.
Look at him.
Yeah, finally about time. They didn't really tell people they were calling him up this time, so like the pressure was a little bit lower, which is, I think, good for him. Did you see the video of the dad and the son that caught the ball?
No.
They went up to him after, and I like this, and there's always this discourse about, hey, like, you should get paid absorbent amount of money for this. Like the Aaron Judge ball was like, you should use your leverage. I think it's fucking stupid. I understand that baseball teams have a lot of money. I understand baseball players have a lot of money. If you catch somebody's, just give it to him. And this is what the dad said. Dad brought his son down. Hey, Jackson, blah, blah, blah. Here's your ball. Guys like, Jackson's like, thank you for making it easy. And the guy's like, well, if my son ever did that, I'd want someone to be as nice about this and just give it to me. That's the way you should do
awesome.
it. Stop being
100%.
assholes and just be a good person.
Be a classy guy.
Yeah.
And on that note, we thank you for joining the anniversary episode of the Taxi Squad podcast. Season 4 is well underway, and we appreciate you and enjoy the fact that you're with us week after week.
I'll be calmed down next week, by the way.
Yeah, we tried to end it on a high note, right? We went super therapy session. Now we're ending it on a high note.
Yeah.
As always, if you haven't downloaded, followed, shared, go do all of those things on all major platforms.
Please.
Where we exist.
Please.
Also, to that point, if you have a brother, a sister from another mister, a stepsister, a brother from another mother, this is the year of the siblings, as always. Share it with them. And then, of course, we will see you next week.
Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.